Hey, what's going on, guys? I know it's been a while since I posted a video, and this is kind of a really interesting project that I got going on, so it's not going to be really a long video, but I kind of wanted to tell you a little bit about what's going on right now and kind of what's in my head. I wanted to definitely get this on film. So you'll see behind me that there's a whiteboard that's got some information about paint restoration. There's a video that I'm going to post, and it's going to be probably a little bit over an hour long. I know that's a long video, but there's a lot that's going to be happening that I'm going to be talking about, like when and why to do paint restoration. That's super important, right? Not all the time should a car be corrected, right? And sometimes you need to talk to clients or whatever and come up with the best solution, not only for your client's wallet or for their car or for your car, right? So sometimes even with the client that wants to throw you a bunch of money, sometimes when you look at the vehicle and go, look for the betterment of the vehicle's, health, if you want to put it that way. I would highly suggest not doing this, and that could be for a number of reasons. Whether the paint is original and it's really, really old, and the paint's really, really thin, it's just not worth the risk of trying to correct that paint and blow through it. Or in the case of a lot of clients, where it's like, okay, so when these scratches occurred, how did they occur? Well, I take my car through an automatic car wash every Friday or whatever. Okay, so if you're going to spend $1,000 and get this corrected and get this protected and things like that, are you going to change those behaviors? No, I'll probably continue running it through the car wash. Okay, great. So you should probably just keep as much paint as you can on that car and not do unnecessary corrections, because in 3 months, whenever that paint goes exactly back to, kind of what it looked like, you're going to want to do a correction again. And you can't every 3 months start doing major paint corrections back and forth. There's just not enough paint on this car. So sometimes it's just not even worth your client's money. It's not worth your time, and I have had this argument with detailers where they're like, well, this is a business. And I'm like, I get that. Like, I respect that. But with me, I'm looking for long-term, customer relations. And so I would rather turn somebody away than in 3 months they go like, why is my paint looking the exact same way, right? That's just my personal thing. I'm not saying that what people do, with their business is wrong. That's just me personally. Paint breakdown. Obviously, we're going to talk about paint. We're going to talk about, the levels of paint, kind of what you're doing while you're buffing. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, obviously, about paint correction. And the one thing that I seem to be missing is the actual, what are you physically doing to the paint? I know that you grab this pad and this product and you just put a pad to the paint, and the before and after is great. Okay, but I want to know at the molecular level exactly what I'm doing. That's why I'm making this video. Like I said, this is missed in a lot of YouTube videos, the when, why, and paint breakdown as far as what you're doing. And then all this you've seen, but I'm going to do my own version of it, like prepping paint, restoring, and then what to do after you've restored it. I think it's silly to restore paint and not put some sort of sacrificial layer of protection on this. So every time I do a paint restoration, that kind of comes with it. And then DHRC, that's drive hard, ride clean. Don't leave these in the garage. Drive the hell out of them and enjoy them. All right. That being said, that's kind of just what's going on. I'm working on a 2002 Pontiac Trans Am. And this client is one of my favorites because he knows our world. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows the realistic expectations that he's going to have, things like that. So this paint is really thin. It's probably been corrected, I believe, probably about twice. So I'm dealing with about a mil worth of clear coat. Now, I only took this job because he has realistic expectations and he knows what to expect. And we've looked over the vehicle and I've kind of given him a good understanding of the results. So is it perfect? No, it's not worth trying to get to that perfect level. But the reason why I'm doing this and I'm taking off the necessary amount of clear coat to make this paint pop again without compromising the paint is because I know that this guy hand washes his cars. He uses good, superior products. He has good techniques, things like that. I know that this paint restoration is going to be worth the time putting into it. So I kind of want to show you a little bit about, what it looked like before, kind of what we're dealing with now. So I don't have a panel where I'm half done and half not. But this was pretty uniform around the whole car. Just light marring and things like that, which isn't much if I had a bunch of paint to work with. But because I only have a mil to work with, we're in danger zone. So I've got to be very, very careful about how much I remove. Now, this is the door that's, this side of the car is left, right? So you can see You know, this is all swirled out and stuff like that. Now the hood is done. This is as close as I'm going to get. You can still see scratches and stuff like that. And the paint's not perfect. You know, you see some scratches here. But it is much better than this, right? And this is about as close as I'm going to get pushing it, right? So it looks a lot better. Like, okay, you see this here? Like, there's no getting that out. That's just too deep. It's not worth messing with, and I kind of told him about that. So, I mean, the paint looks a lot better, right? But not showroom perfect or nothing like that, but that's not what we're expecting here. So I kind of wanted to show the difference here. Now, here's a video that I have not posted on my YouTube channel, and that is when it comes to soft and hard paint. So, doesn't matter, you know, should you really stress about it? No. When you're dealing with any kind of paint correction, basically want to dial in what's best for the paint. And I really wouldn't worry about, you know, if the paint's hard or soft, or this manufacturer versus this one, blah, blah, blah. Like we all know, you know, Tesla's paint's soft or whatever, and that's a good general idea to have, but don't approach every car and think, okay, this is a Ford, this is going to be this is going to be, there's no such thing. So with this car in particular, I believe this is a custom paint job, and it is really funny because I'm having to do many different techniques to different panels, and I don't know why, and unfortunately he's not the original owner, but like even on the same panel, this side was extremely soft, right? And this side was hard, right? Like this panel is soft, that door was really hard, the lower skirt was really hard. So even the same car, I'm having to adjust constantly my approach. I'm having to swap pads out from foam pads to microfiber cutting pads. I'm having to just do polish. I'm even having some areas where just water is correcting it without using polish, or I did water just on this. It was so soft, even a towel was scratching it. So I'm having to use brand new towels and just use water with a microfiber cutting disc, and it came out perfect. So what does this mean to you? So there's 3 variables, and this isn't in this video, and I need to put it in it, so that's why I'm making this. There's 3 variables when it comes to paint correction. That's your buff cycle, which is how long you're correcting, your product, so that's your amount, and the area that you're doing. So this is soft paint, okay? So for the majority of the car, it has been soft. Like I said, there's been some hard areas, which is kind of makes me raise an eyebrow to it. It makes me really curious, but that's why I love this job so much. I'd like to know why. Usually when you dial in a car, you can do it all the way around the car, and pretty much it'll work for you. With this car, for some reason, I've had to change, you know, combinations and stuff like that. So most of the car has been soft paint. That means faster removal. That means debris control. So when you're correcting a certain area, right, if the paint's really soft, then clear coat is going to be coming into your pad, right? And the more clear coat that's in your pad, it clogs your pad up. It stops, you know, the product from actually being put on the paint. And then it can actually start marring the paint if you continue and go past your buffing cycle. So for the most part, you know, your buffing cycle can be about a minute. I'm having to do about 5 seconds on a car. So it's taking me a lot longer. So my buffing cycle is way down. Okay, I'm not spending a lot of time correcting, right? I'm using a lot of product, right? Because with the soft paint and because it's faster removal, the more product that's on there, yes, it does correct faster, but what it does is it actually stops the clear coat, the debris from touching the paint, right? So it kind of gets it in the pad and has somewhere to kind of keep that debris in the pad. And then my area is having to be a lot smaller, right? So let's say this was hard paint. I could probably do this whole section here, run 1.5 minutes, you know, and either have like medium amount of product or a little bit more. So what I could do is actually I could increase my buffing cycle. I could go in the middle or increase product, right, and increase area, right? If this was really hard paint, if I'm not removing a bunch, but it kind of needs to be hammered to get those defects out, things like that. But because this is soft, this is the combination that's kind of working for me. So it's something to keep in mind when you're correcting paint that, again, having, you know, okay, grab this pad, this product, and this, you know, cycle or whatever. is not the best way to do it. Definitely learn about the paint and kind of listen to the paint. I know that sounds weird, but because this has been kind of a unique project, this is something I wanted to put on video, but this was something that I left out on this video that I'm going to make. I just need to edit it. Everything is cut. But anyways, wanted to make that video. This is really interesting. So, all right, we'll add more to it if I need to. Thanks, guys.